this is Phase Ready for it. I'm here to give you my pros and cons. My name is Tara, and I also want to explain why there's a ring on my glasses, because I got a light and it's new from Big Lots and it goes with my phone. This is the best I can do for now. And since I use my phone to record, this is the best thing I can do until I can find something better so that doesn't do this. Anyway, so my pros and cons are going to be from May to November. So sit here for a long ride. I was going to do it in sections, but I waited too long to do this video, so it's gonna be all one video. Apologize in the beginning for might be a little bit long. I'll try not to be too long about it. Also, in my pros and cons, I do not give you my personal opinion. If you want my personal opinion, I have links in the description box for my Storygraph and Goodreads. Some of them I do have little bit of reviews for, or just my star rating, because of work and being lazy of not writing a review of the book. So I'm gonna get into it, and the first book is from Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. The pros: Hawk, witty banter, and slow burn romance. The cons: way too long, could have been shorter. Too info dumpy. The plot was predictable. Kingdom of Cop. Ooh, nope. It is City of Brass by S.A. Shaparty. Prose: beautifully written. Fantastic world building, pacing just right. The cons are too much going on, romance not done well, and some typical to other books. And I read The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Shaparty. Prose, plot, intrigue, better than book 1. Characters fully come to themselves. The cons is Nari is unlikable, character cliches, and lack of important female characters. The next one is The Hatmakers by Tasman Merchant. Prose: phenomenal beginning, fun and cute, characters well developed. The cons: the main character is too big for her britches, and she was was very flaky. Straight into action, too quick, and doesn't feel clever or original. Then I read Iron Gold by Pierce Brown. Prose: additional point of views, the darkest in the series. Darrow's still badass. Cons are too much of a different direction, heavy read, and too depressing. Next, I read Legendborn by Tracy Donnan. Prose: that ending, interesting and layered story, good rep for dealing with grief. Cons: reads too young, didn't like Bree as a character. Characters were stereotypical. Daughter of the Parrot King by Trissa Levenseller. Pros, a whole lot of fun. Female pirate, a fiery heroine. Cons, lack of description on Century, many plot holes, and supernatural elements fell out of place. The next one is The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. Pros, morally gray characters, each character fleshed out, fantastic world building. Cons, slow, dragged, mainly for the book misleading and cheeky and cheesy. The next book is The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Ray Carson. Pros, hero who actually thinks heroine actually who thinks for herself, great writing, and well-developed plot. Cons, fat shaming and inner self fat shaming, too much of blind faith, and magic very underdeveloped. The next I read is Age of Legend by Michael J. Sullivan. Pros, excellent world building, shows how the characters changed. The cons is the middle book syndrome, ending too abrupt. The next one is Farmer Girls by Riley Sager. Pros, wild ride, never a dull moment. Cons, slow paced, main character self-centered. I missed a pro, and that it keeps you guessing till the end. The next book is Attica Witch. Pros, imaginative, friendship group, and magical system. Cons, weak plot, poor editing, and simple and can't read my rating. Simple conscience of facts, maybe. I wrote these notes a long ago. Next book I read is Dark Age by Pierce Brown. Prose, dark tone, new character's point of view, crazy, intense, and action. Cons, the new character's point of view, so that's also it's a con as well. Lack of plot and plot twist lazy. Amari and the Night Brothers by B. Elton. Pros, amazing character development. The pace. It was a 2 to myths and legends done well. Cons is too long, ending felt rushed, and lots of cliches. The next book I read was The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. The prose, lovely writing, magical, amazing debut novel. Cons, the insta-love, the pacing, the main character is self-pining and whiny. The next book is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Prose, unreliable narrator, perfect amount of 90s pop culture references. Like, it felt like a Hitchcock movie. The cons: main character is frustratingly dumb, cast is way too small, and over explaining everything. The next book is The Good Sister by Sally Helpworth. Prose: Fern. That's all I gotta say. Fern. Grabs you from page 1. High tension. The cons: twist. Felt like the snake of twists. Rose's character development weak, and big reveals easy to figure out. The next one is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. 1. Charming debut. 2. Relationship between Yordle and Julian. The own voices being trans. Cons: nothing happens until the end. Half-baked villain. Draggy writing style. And I read On Borrowed Crime by Kate Young. Prose: great start to a new series. Southern charm. Who doesn't like Southern charm? Cons: lots of cliches, too many characters involved, major blunders. Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Prose: complex characters, amazing writing. Close to could be eerily close to what could be happening right now. Like and then cons is beyond depressing, too many plot holes, and the main character not likable. Next is Age of Death by Michael J. Sullivan. Prose: the mythology, fantastic entry of the series so far. Surrey. Cons: plot progression very slow. Mostly nothing happens. Too stretched out. Next is Age of Empire by Michael J. Sullivan. An emotional conclusion. Redemption theme. Cons is excessively wordy. Some characters felt dragging, and some still had loose endings. Then the next book is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Prose: good thriller / slasher, character driven, dark story. Cons: writing sometimes more like a rambling. Distinguishable characters, and some felt it was not scary. The next book I've read is The Wicked Baron by Mary Lancaster. Prose: well fleshed out story, characters interaction amusing, strong start to a series. Cons: too many plot lines, awful love scene, Hero and heroine love sizzles way through the novel. The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Prose. Amazing writing style. Focuses on older women, realistic violence, and true reactions. The cons. The themes of the author wanted to convey wasn't shown. The main character dislikable. Mass market predictable thriller. Next is Insatiable by Meg Abbott. Prose funny. Relationship between the characters realistic. Just a fun read. Cons. Main character Mary Sue. Insta love. The mock vampire trend fail. Then I read Parable of the Sower, A Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler. Very realistic, darker, impactful. The cons. Incomplete series because of the author's death. Dizzying amount of plot lines and characters. The religious political aspects. Then I read The Never-Ending Story by Michael Ende. Prose. Delightful children's fantasy. Just as amazing as the movie. Strength and perseverance. Cons. Main character insufferable. Questionable messages. Writing style choppy. Then I read Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. Prose. Talked about the darker side of fandoms. Setting takes place entirely at the con, and both character leads from this. Both characters learn from the switch. Cons. Multiple underdevelopment, romantic plot, juvenile and uninspired, too many geek references. That was a whole lot on the 1-star, 2-star, and 3 stars on some of them. So I saw that a lot, so I put that there. The next book I read is His H for Homicide by T.C. Lambentillo. Sorry if I'm horrible with names. Prose. Amazing writing. Nick the Cat. And fun, twisty, cozy mystery. The cons. Main character is sluding too much. The long gap between book 2 and this book, and unrealistic, where a cat is in place of business where there's food, like the cat on the counter and in the kitchen. But then the next one I read, Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. Prose, really cute, grumpy hero, and good modernization of Beauty and the Beast. Cons. Nothing unique, very predictable, and too many pop culture references. Then I read A Familiar Tale by Deails James. Prose, magic and mystery, disappearing cat, and well-developed plot. Cons. 60% no real investigation, too wordy, and book trying too much. Crown of Feathers by Nikki Pertudo. Cons: lore and history of the world, well fleshed out. Phoenix Riders, hello, and magic system. Cons: slightly info dumpy, pacing slow, and characters predictable. Death Overdue by Alison Brooke. Pros: ghost and mystery, library and a kitten, and fun. Cons: dim-witted, felt main character juvenile, and the romance. The next book I've read is Billy Summers by Stephen King. Pros: strong, believable characters, strong writing, compelling plot. Cons: very draggy, and is like completely different novel, and the flow of the book awful. Then I read Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. Pros: whimsical, funny, heartfelt. The cons: pacing issues, too long, and story felt incongruous. Here's books I've read, and I didn't put any pros and cons for. I read Gone by Alison Brooke, the second book in this series of Familiar Tale. No, not familiar. I forget which one. Sorry. By Familiar Means and Familiar Motives by Deails James, the second and the third book, and The Heart of Flames, which is the second book in the Crown of Feathers. I also have read The Wings of Shadow, the third book in the Crown of Feathers, the Death by Tea Bookstore Mystery Number 2, Death by Pumpkin Spice, and Death by Vanilla Latte, which is 3 and 4, in the Book Cafe Mystery. And I read The Tunnel of Bones by Cassidy, the Cassidy Breakthroughs by V. Schrapp. I kind of, anyway, so the next book that is pros and cons is I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Frost. Pros: black girl in relationship with a black boy. So I want to point out right now that I am taking this review, these pros and cons right now, from Own Voices. So this particular person that I got this particular thing from is that she was saying that the romance that books that she had read or with a black main character or heroine dates a white person or another ethnic group, and she was just happy to see that in a YA book that another person of color, a black girl dating a black boy. So I just want to be clear. Teens' ability to be normal teens and main character relatable character. The main character was relatable to a lot of the Own Voices. I looked through, and the cons is not enough romance, the road trip, and the language swearing. The next book I read is Horror Story by Grady Hendrix. Pros: IKEA lifestyle catalog. So the book was shaped, and I had certain things that would be in an IKEA catalog, and that was pretty cool. Fun, scary read, deeper themes in the novel. Cons: immature, boring, story not well executed. Clown in the Cornfield by Adam Caesar. Sorry if I butchered it. Pros: slasher, heart pounding thrill ride, vain and dark humor. Cons: pacing, one of on the nose political point, anti-right millennial hate. Next I read is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Pros: writing style, the 80s references, and supernatural horror. The cons is barely any descriptions, unnecessary violence against animals, and graphic. The next thing I read was Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. Pros: fairy tale vibes, completely unique, and gorgeous writing. Cons: main characters childish, the brothers are hard to tell apart, and cliches and tropey. The next I read is Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. Pros: fierce main character, friendship between Sorsha and Sango, world building and imagery. Cons: characters fell flat, underwhelming, and lack of plot. Next I read is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Pros: writing style, intriguing plot, characters seem like real people. Cons: plot barely contained, too weird of a direction, and limited imagination. Then I read Death by Coffee by Alex Erkson. Pros: best friends owning a store, cats shenanigans, good start to a series. Plain. Cons is characters were stupid. The main character, no reason to suspense, and lack of development. Next I read is Pain and Suffering by Cheryl Holland. Pros: characters made a different in the book. Plot very well thought out. Amazing first entry to a cozy mystery and debut. Cons: dialogue very stilted, monotonously realistic, and mystery felt bland. The Witness by Nora Roberts. Pros: main character super smart and nerdy, suspense done well, and quirky. Romance fell flat, lack of character development, and felt rushed. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. Pros: love letter to slasher films, gritty and smart and sarcastic. The cons: long, extremely slow-paced, and main character too much of a mess. And the last book for pros and cons is Foxheart by Claire Leonard. Pros: fast-paced, well done, fun and witty, amazing world building. Cons: characters lacked development, kept skipping around to one point to another, and awkward. And the books I'm currently reading is Crescent City, the Earth House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm buddy reading Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. So that is the long pros and cons. Thank you for sticking around, and engage in the comments. Tell me what books, have you read any of them? Did you enjoy any of them? Do you agree with some of the pros and cons of each book I've read? And don't forget to like and subscribe. All my links are in the description box. And wherever you are, whoever you are, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.